You're listening to the Empty Nest Empires podcast. Hey, Empire Builders. I am really happy that my first full-length episode after the introductions we've been doing is this one, about being healthy enough. I've noticed a tendency to have an all-or-nothing mentality in this area, and I'm the first to raise my hand on that one. Every time we open a magazine or, see it at the checkout line or turn on the TV, we're bombarded with images of others we'd like to emulate, but really, we know deep down it's unattainable. And I will say mostly because they're so highly photoshopped that even the person in the picture doesn't look like the person in the picture. So what do? We get discouraged and we do nothing. So my guest today is going to teach you a better way, a way to be healthy enough. Okay, your nest is empty, or it will be within a few years. So now what? Whether you know it or not, we are building empires. Empires of faith, family, fun, fitness, and of course, finance. And those empires are the legacy we leave for our loved ones. I'm Tammy Romani, an empty nester mom, grandma, and entrepreneur with a vision for ever greater things in the years ahead. It's never too late, and there is no limit to what we can do. I'm so happy you're here. Now let's get to building. My guest today is Amy Van Liew of Be Healthy Enough. After retiring from a 26-year career as an engineer, Amy decided to carve out a space for herself in the world of health and fitness. So she began educating herself and becoming certified in the areas of personal training, group fitness, and integrative nutrition, with additional courses in myofascial release using the MELT method, corrective exercise with the biomechanics method, and courses in senior and midlife fitness. Through her continued education and experience with clients, Amy has learned that the best approach to health is simply to be healthy enough. Healthy enough to do the things you love to do, to feel good, to feel satisfied, and to also be able to truly enjoy life. I love Amy's no-nonsense approach to health, and I think you will too. So here's my interview with Amy. I hope you are inspired by it and will make some changes to be healthy enough. Amy, I just want to thank you so much for being here with me today, because I think your message, be healthy enough, speaks to a lot of people. So I really want to get into the background. I think people will relate to your personal health journey. Can you just give me an update on how you got where you are? Here you are in your 50s, completely starting something new, right?
Yep.
How did you get there?
Okay. So it's a long, complicated story, but I'm going to stick with the be healthy enough side first.
Okay.
So I was thin most of my young adult life. And when I got to college, I didn't just put on the freshman 15, it was the freshman 30. I was an overachiever. And I am the firstborn. I was always the A student. If I got an A minus or a B plus, my dad, why didn't you get an A plus? So I was always that perfectionist driven person. So I tried every diet known to man, and I abused my body until it ached. And even I went through school, I became an engineer, and I worked for Hewlett Packard for 26 years. And I think since college and through my years at Hewlett Packard, I had this passion, or rather an obsession, for health and fitness. I even taught a boot camp class at HP at lunch for free. And I loved it, but it was intense. The guys were gasping for air. So it came up. And so this was when I've turned 50. And I would say I was relatively healthy, always striving for perfection, that thin enough and healthy enough and pretty enough and all of that. And at 50, I got an offer I could not refuse. They shut down a division that I was in at HP. And at the same time offered early retirement. So if you were at a certain age and then your years of service equaled a total number, you got early retirement package. And it was one of the best ones they had offered. And they were shutting down the business I was in. So they asked me to stay an extra year to help them shut down the business. So I had an extra year to plan my retirement. So I got this wonderful book by Jack Canfield. Do you know Jack Canfield? He did a lot of the Chicken Soup for the Soul. He, because a lot of the retirees were in the same position. We were only 50. We didn't really want to retire, but we wanted to try something different. So we had this mastermind group and we filled out this book that he had, all his exercises, The Secrets of Success, how to get from where you are to where you want to be.
Yeah.
And it was the same sort of exercise, Tammy, you have us do in the Empty Nest Empire is, what are those things that you get lost doing for hours and you look up in the clock and you go, oh my gosh, but you were thoroughly engaged and you loved it and you couldn't wait to do it. And health and fitness was that for me. So I'm going to start my business. I'm going to be a health coach. I'm going to help them get thin and be happy and healthy. And I went back to school for nutrition because I needed some of that. I had my personal training and my group class certification, but I knew there's that notification you told me to turn off. I don't know if you heard.
It was a pretty sound.
Okay. And then I was just walking with my husband one morning and I had just heard about in a lecture of my class, all these different diets, paleo and raw and keto and South Beach and this and that. And I told my husband, I said, I just want to be healthy enough. Because at that time I was 50, 51, 52, and I had started working out with women in my neighborhood. And all I heard was, after we started doing the things I used to be able to do that kept my weight down, it was ouch, ouch, ouch. That hurt. And so I came to the realization we couldn't do what we used to be able to do. And we didn't have to be honest. So I said, I just want to be healthy enough, healthy enough to do the things we love to do, stop striving for that perfection and feeling okay. That's the big concept, feeling enough that because I'm not running anymore, I'm not doing those boot camps, that it's going to be all right. And I'll be fine and I'll be healthy enough. Would you like to say something? I've been
that brings up a question for me and something that I struggle with, and I imagine a lot of people do when you get into your 50s, your 60s.
Yep.
I know my mom had this when she was into her 80s. She really didn't get sick until she was into her 80s.
Yeah.
And people would say things to her like, well, you have to start thinking like a sick person. And she would be like, well, I don't even know what that means, and so she didn't, which probably helped her live to be 90. Right. But myself as a high school athlete, always an active person, did a triathlon in my early 40s. Now I'm 60 and I'm like, I want to do that again. And then I go, do I really?
The question is,
my mind still thinks that I can do what I did 20 years ago at 40, which was train for that triathlon.
Yeah.
And now I've given my bike to my daughter. She's doing triathlons. And I'm like, I kind of want to do that, but do I really?
I know.
And
the question is, why deep down do you want to do that? Right?
I think because in my mind, I think I still can. And because you always hear stories. I have a personal friend who's in her 90s now. She started running at 72.
Oh my goodness.
And she did like her first marathon at 72 was a marathon runner. And now she does 5Ks with her family, which is 3 miles, but she's like 96.
I know. And that's kind of like a little bit of an off topic of what I don't want. Just because you are 50 or 60 or 70 doesn't mean that you can't do those things. Really, if your body will let you and you can get through it without injuring yourself, oh my God, God bless you.
Yeah.
But if you can't, can you accept the fact that you can't do those things anymore and just have a sigh of relief that you'll find things that you can do. Because a lot of people, when they hear that be healthy enough, they think, oh, it means I can just kick back and do nothing. No, 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 no. It means you still have to move, but you have to find the things that you enjoy, that don't hurt, and that can keep you doing and being able to do the things you love to do. Like if you do love to run, then you find ways to keep your body healthy enough to run. If you like to do a triathlon, you can do that. Or if you just want to go for a walk with your friends and feel that that's easy to do and you're not struggling doing that, that's be healthy enough to me.
Right. I love that, because I think we trap ourselves into an all or nothing idea, right? Especially if we used to be very active and very, maybe even an athlete. I think it's really hard for someone who perhaps was a college athlete. My husband is there. He's 66 now. It was a college athlete, always been, weekend warrior athlete, but he has had like 13 orthopedic surgeries.
Yikes.
But to him, it's so much fun to still go and play basketball that he's willing to put up with the icing of the knees, when he gets home, because to him it's worth it. Now, I don't know what will happen with the mindset thing when he gets to a point where he cannot do it, but to him, that's healthy enough for him.
Perfect.
And he worked really hard, even after hip replacement, to get, 2 years to that point where, please, doctor, can I play basketball again with, even if it's just old guy basketball, and it just brings him so much joy.
Yeah.
So modifications, I think, are key. How do you, this is kind of not the general idea I wanted to go in, but I think a lot of people need to hear this. So you used to be way more active.
Yes.
Now your mind is thinking, well, if I can't do that anymore, I won't do anything.
Exactly.
What are some common modifications that people can do and still get the joy out of having those endorphins pumping through their bodies?
I mean, it's just endless, and that's what you have to find, and that's that engineer in me that likes to experiment with all the different things that I can do. And I do think we have to have a mindset shift, because we do need to do some of the things we might have thought were boring when we were 20 and 30. We have to work on our balance, and that takes a little bit of different training. And we have to work on our posture, because we don't want to be those hunched over old people. And we have to work on our core. We can't just go for the run, or maybe, go do a triathlon without keeping mind of the whole body and keeping the whole body strong, so we can do those things that we love to do. But I used to do an hour-long boot camp class, 3 times a week, get on the treadmill the other day for half an hour, do Pilates. I work out for 30 minutes. I do exercise for 30 minutes. I do teach a Pilates class, and I do a cardio class that are hour. But on those off days, 30 minutes, I can get it done. Mm-hmm. And it's okay. It keeps me healthy enough to do the things that I love to do, teach my classes and go hiking with my husband and do yard work. Yeah. But I do make sure that I incorporate some of those core things, balance, posture, core, to keep our overall body healthy.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
We hear a lot about, of course we think we're too young for this, but we hear about people into their 70s, 80s that have that fall.
Yes.
That begins their great decline, I would say.
Yeah.
It happened to my mother. I mean, it just happens. It's so common. Yeah. You talk about balance and mobility. What is the most important thing to maintain that mobility, to lessen our chance of being that statistic?
And that's the shift that I've had to make as I've entered into I'm 56 now. Mm-hmm. I've entered into the 50s. It's exercising isn't to look good and compete anymore. You really do have to shift your mindset, so you don't need help when you're 80 getting off the pot. You can have independent living. You don't have a fall. You truly do have to think about those things.
Play with your grandkids.
Exactly. Being able to get on the floor and get up off the floor with your grandkids, balance, I think, is my number one thing. I have a client that she's 78 and she's had a couple falls, and we stand on one foot together. And
Yeah.
that's part of her workout. And I stand on one foot while I'm brushing my teeth, just trying to keep that little bit of ankle mobility and things like that. And just the way you move your feet and all sorts of things are little things we need to keep thinking about, as opposed to looking good or feeling thin or competing in that marathon.
Yeah, I love that you said that. Like, you stand on one foot while you're brushing your teeth. What are some other tips rather than, okay, let's slate 30 minutes a day to move your body in some way? What else
Yes.
can you do throughout the day that reinforces your body's need to be stable and healthier?
I think adding balanced things to your normal routine, your normal day, standing on one foot, walking heel to toe when you can, when you're with your grandkids, pretend like you're walking the plank or something. Just those little things really do build up those muscles. If that's super easy, you've got to make it a little bit harder by maybe, if you're training with weights now, standing on one foot while you're doing your bicep curls, getting a stability ball and sitting on that while you do some things. Just finding some little balance challenges you can do every single day. It doesn't have to be crazy. It's just a little tiny bit every single day. The other thing that's tied to balance is your posture. How many of us have this thing that we're like this all day long? My gosh, I catch myself. I put this little thing on my phone so I can, at least when I'm around, I can prop it up and have it at eyesight. But I walk around and I see these kids already in their 20s and even younger with these hunched over shoulders. And it's going to get worse if we're not careful about that. And those things are easy to do. Stretching your chest muscles, strengthening your upper back, and just taking a break from your computer and not putting your head down to look at your phone. Did you know, that when you put just 1 inch forward, it adds an extra 10 pounds on your spine? And to compensate that for that, your head is 8 to 10
You mean
pounds.
like it makes your head feel heavier to your spine, your upper
and
spine.
so your spine will build up bone and fat, and you'll get that little hump. Now sometimes that's an osteoporosis hump, but it's a great way to get people to get their chin up off their chest and try it. Your body was designed to be in balance and align with your head right up on top of your spine. And then, your spine right up on your hips, and then your knees right there. So anytime we're out of that for a long period of time, your body tries to compensate. So that's the other one. Balance
and right itself.
Yeah, right? Balance and posture. Yeah. And then keeping your core muscles as strong as you can. Core work it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't need to be those crazy sit-ups. It can be some simple lower ab work and low back work. I have so many clients that get a little bit older, and osteoarthritis does start to creep in because our bones and our joints are just deteriorating a little bit. So keeping your muscles strong helps as those bones and joints start to deteriorate with age. That's just a fact. It happens.
Yeah.
Okay,
so let's talk about someone who is really been failing in the health department. Like they are thinking, wow, just to be healthy enough, it's gonna take a lot. I really do need to lose at least 50 pounds because all these numbers are bad and my blood tests are terrible and I can't move like I should. And, I'm worried about even 10 years from now being a burden to my family and that kind of thing. Where does someone like that start to be healthy enough?
So I'm a firm believer that everybody is different. I'm never prescribed one thing for one person because, so I'll have to say it depends, but it doesn't have to be complicated. I was sitting, moving more throughout the day, a little bit more throughout the day. I use my Fitbit to.
Oh yeah, I have one on too.
Yeah. Just as a
helpful
guide, I know, just as a little nudge to move more throughout the day. I found myself being a new entrepreneur, glued to my computer way more than I should be.
Yeah.
And so I would set an alarm on my phone. I think I got this from Shalene, for every hour, 45 minutes, and I'd set the alarm, and then I'd get up and move around. And then I wanted more, so I created 5-minute exercise videos, and I would get up, set my alarm, and do these exercise videos. I put them on my online platform and just do them 5 minutes, and I would do 2 or 3 throughout the day. And it was amazing. I actually had shoulder issues from the mouse and hunching over.
Oh, yeah.
And just moving my shoulders more throughout the day was like night and day. So,
Okay, so you actually first made these videos for yourself.
yes.
To give yourself a break from just working all day long.
Because
now you've got them on a platform that someone can access.
Yes. Actually, I have a free 5-minute, 5-day exercise challenge.
Oh, wow.
I'll give you the link.
Yeah.
I send you a video every morning with 2 5-minute videos, and it's kind of a little nudge to do it. I have some people that will do all of them in one day, and some that will batch them up, or some like me that like to go throughout the day and just get some movement in. But those have been really fun and really hit a sweet spot.
We should do that together inside the Building Empty Nest Empires group.
I would love that.
That would be fun.
Okay. For 5 minutes, you can do anything for 5 minutes.
And I'll make sure there's a link to sign up for that in the show notes. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that so much, that it's free for everybody, because I think it's so important to just get moving more. That's my motto: get moving, feel better. Because motion is lotion for your joints. So back to your question, it can seem extremely daunting if you've got a lot to do, but it's just one step at a time. My recommendation is to get someone to help be your accountability partner, a Fitbit or an app, or someone that can help motivate you when you're went through the highs and the lows of exercise. Because there will be lows when you're just feeling like, ugh. I get it all the time. And then as soon as you start to move, you go for a walk, you feel better.
Yeah.
Exercise releases endorphins. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I had found myself in the same boat, where I was just so focused on building my business. Before I knew it, 5 hours had gone by and I hadn't even stood up, which, they say sitting is the new smoking. Which
I know. And your legs asleep, and you keep tapping it so you don't have to get up. Oh yeah.
And I actually joined an accountability group where the gal just prints up a calendar, and you write your own thing.
Perfect.
And I just picked 2 things for last month. Like, okay, this is all I'm going to say that I have to do every day. And it was drink at least, I think I said 80 ounces of water a day, and move for 30 minutes a day.
Perfect.
And I'm not kidding. I only missed 3 days in the whole month, which was amazing to me. But just having that box I had to check off made such a difference for me. And now, of course, we're 8 days into October, and I've probably only done 2 because I'm not doing that same. I didn't challenge myself again. So there are people like me who need accountability. And
everybody does.
If you just rely on yourself, find somebody to be accountable to. Find a group. If you're inside one of my groups, let's do it together, because this is your future we're talking about. And you're talking about your ability to play, to be healthy. If you still have kids at home, or they're just in college now, don't you want to be the one who dances at their weddings? Don't you want to be the one who plays with the grandkids? This has always been really at the forefront of my mind. Is my husband's mom was quite a bit older than my own mother. And by that time, I think, by the time my children were really small, she had probably fallen, and she did a lot of sitting. And so when we would go to visit her, she was in a chair. My kids would run up and hug her and all that. Whereas my mom would get on the floor and play games or whatever, play baseball with them in the backyard, or, do a puzzles and just get down on the floor at their level. And I will never forget, my son was only 4 years old, And I said to him one day, "Hey, grandma's coming over today." And his little 4-year-old voice said to me, "Oh, which one? The one that plays with me or the one that's going to die soon?"
Oh God.
And I
Oh
just
God.
went,
Oh boy.
oh, I mean, my son's 28 now, and I will never forget his little voice saying that. And
Yeah.
I just was like, I have to be the grandma who plays,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's just,
I know.
come
And,
on,
and
if that's how your little 3, 4-year-old grandchild views you,
yeah.
and she didn't die for many more years,
Yeah.
but in his mind, that
She
was why
did.
she was sitting in the chair all the time, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I didn't even know he understood the concept of death or anything like that. Like, I was so shocked by this phrase that boy, it has stayed with me. It
Yeah.
has really stayed
And
with me.
it's sad. And if anybody's watching or listening that is in that situation, I hope they understand it doesn't have to be all or nothing. I hope they're getting the message that just doing a little bit more than you did the day before. And
Yes.
and finding if walking or running or doing the treadmill is hurts, find something else that you like. It has to be enjoyable and something that you're going to want to go back to. And it doesn't have to be a boot camp. It doesn't have to be. I was looking through my cupboard the other day. I have like the Beachbody Insanity and Jillian Michaels and
Oh, yeah.
all of those ones that I can't. No way can I do that. I might be able to. I might try. No.
For 15 minutes.
But it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
Or if you do that, you pay for it the next day. I have so many clients that come to me that know what it feels like to work out really hard. I have a brand new client. She's 58, just kind of let herself go. She's got some osteoporosis now. So she knows what it feels like when you start exercising. You do get those endorphins and you do want to push yourself. But I'm like holding her back because you can't, when you're this age, you can't do that because you hurt yourself and then you won't be able to exercise at all. So you've got, if you are those type A people out there, you've got to be careful too, that you don't hurt yourself, that you can't do what you love to do at all.
And I think it's important, like if you have, like I had a foot surgery a year
Oh
ago,
yeah.
and I let myself just sit. And, I could have done something. I
Yeah.
could have at least done some upper body.
Mm-hmm.
I did get one of those little one-leg scooter things, which,
Yeah.
was a lot of work actually to push
Yeah.
around. So I did that, but I think back on that and I think it's so much easier
Yeah. I
to
know.
just go, forget it.
Isn't
I'm
it
just
though?
gonna I'm just gonna sit here for 2 months and
Isn't it so much
recover,
easier to just
when your recovery would be so much better if you actually did something.
move?
So yeah, I agree with you. I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, I'm a goner, I can't do anything. Everyone can do a little bit of something. And there
Yes.
is something called the compound effect or the slight edge or whatever you want to call it, where every day builds on the day before.
I love your concept. I do this myself. I just create myself a little goal for the week and I put of course I use Excel because I'm an engineer.
Sure.
I have a little box and if I get it for the day, I give myself 1 point. I have like 5 or 6 now because I've been doing this for a while. I give myself a point. If I don't do it, I give myself a 0. And then I have a goal total that if I meet that goal, I get to do something fun. And it really
That's
does.
awesome.
Just doing that little 1 or 0
Yeah.
is motivating.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, there were times where I have an elliptical in my house, which, hardly ever gets used. I was on that thing at 10 o'clock at night. It was like,
So you can
day's not over yet. I got to get 30, it's too late to go walk the dog. It's dark. It's, there's coyotes out there, whatever. But dang it, I'm going to get that 30 minutes in. And I did feel so much better.
you do, don't you?
I
It's
did.
amazing. Why don't we always think about that though? It's like
Yeah.
I was in a mood on Sunday. I did not want to eat and we ordered pizza. Oh, I was so excited about having the pizza. And then I felt like crap the next day. You know, it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
you
like
do
I
pay for it.
remember that night, like, why did I do that? It wasn't that good, but why can't we remember that? And then the times when exercise feels so good, so it gets us back going. I don't know. That's
Right.
part of my new career is I think I need to do some psychology training too, because a lot of
Yeah.
it's a mindset shift, like you were saying.
Oh, it
Yeah,
so is. And that is a huge part of it. My
yeah,
goodness.
I know.
Mindset, and that's the thing. I mean, with so many things in life, but I think fitness is one of the big ones where we say, I know what I need to do, and I know what I can do, and I know what it's going to take to get me to where I feel like I will feel good about myself.
Right,
Whether it's just losing that last 10 pounds or
right,
whatever,
right.
experimenting with different ways of eating to find
Yeah,
what your body responds to, which
yeah.
is so important,
Oh,
not
huge.
locking onto one way of eating, but discovering what your body will respond to. I know what I need to do. Why don't I do it?
I
Do you have
know.
an answer for that?
Oh my God, if I did, I'd be a millionaire.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's
I,
work on that together.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because you are talking with entrepreneurs there that are probably later in life, right? That's your
Hmm.
main audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's now or never, babies. We got to figure that out
Yeah.
because if
Hmm.
we don't have our health, you have nothing. You
Yeah.
cannot
And
help.
especially if you want to start a business right now, like that whole, I probably accomplished more, oh, I don't have time to exercise. Everybody has 30 minutes. And
Oh,
if you don't carve out 30 minutes a day for yourself to get even a quick 10-15 minute walk, and maybe I know we talk about the importance of weight bearing exercises for our bones so that they don't deteriorate. Sure, you can swim, but you've also got to do something weight bearing,
yep.
and so there's
For
all
women
these
with
things
this.
that are known.
Yep.
We know, I mean,
We know.
science has shown us your bones will get brittle if you don't do weight bearing exercises. And that means when you fall, you will break.
Yep.
Right. And so there's all these things that we know, that we see come across our Facebook feed. We see inspiration from people like my friend who started running in her 70s, or there's some woman out there. Oh my gosh, I need to find, she's on Instagram. I want to interview her so bad. Like at 72, she got a personal trainer and just started lifting weights, and she's complete health transformation,
That is
you
awesome. I
know?
love those
Um,
things.
but of course, a 30-year-old would look at her and go, oh, but she's still got some jiggly bits. But it's like, she doesn't care. She's like, you look where I came from. Right. And so I think that's so important, especially with social media.
Mhm.
I think we've talked about this before. I feel like we've talked about this before,
Mhm.
where, or I think I talked about it actually in the introduction of this podcast, where I talked about on the fitness empire,
Oh yeah.
is that we are completely snowed over by the images that we see every day.
Mhm.
And we, even in the grocery store, the fitness magazine, the this magazine, the that magazine, we are being presented every day with an unattainable image. And so in our minds, I think this is key for me anyway. It's like, well, I can't get there, so why
Yeah,
bother? If I
exactly.
can't be perfect like that person is, which, if you know anything about Photoshop, that person doesn't even look like that. And there are some Instagram accounts now that are exposing that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I
Good.
actually have a friend who has one. Her Instagram is called Indie Inc, INDYINK. And on her stories, she shows other accounts, and she shows fashion accounts, and she'll circle like this woman has no elbow. And these
Oh,
legs are like elongated by 3 inches. This is not a normal leg size. No one has a femur that long. And she'll point it out. And then she'll also highlight the Instagram accounts that show side by side, hey guys, this is my real picture, and this is what
yeah,
Instagram, we filtered it to look like.
yeah,
So it's super interesting, and I'm happy that there is that out there. But I
yeah.
think especially our generation coming up with reading all the magazines, you
Mm-hmm.
know, Well, I don't know. It's just as bad on social media now because everyone
Oh,
has
for sure.
digital ways to enhance things. But it started with us reading Vogue magazine, Cosmopolitan, even for goodness sake, McCall's. They did
Oh,
not put a cover of an actress on there without it being heavily
yeah,
enhanced, I'll
yeah,
say. And
yeah.
so I can think back as a college student. I remember at a surf shop there being, a rack of postcards, and it was, of course, girls in bikinis. And one of them had my name and spelled my way.
Oh,
So Tami, and she was blonde. And so I was like, oh, there's my goal. I bought the postcard because in my mind, I thought I should be able to get to look like her. And she had the perfect like I've never had this body, even in my best years. But in my mind, I thought that's how I should look. And I carried that postcard for years.
yeah.
It was an unattainable image of what I should look like. And since I couldn't get there, I kind of just went,
Yeah.
why bother? And I hate that that's our reality, and that young women are growing up with it now too, just like we
Yeah.
did. We just had it in front of us in a magazine or on paper, and now it's everywhere on social media. And I don't know what the answer to that is, except just awareness
Yeah.
and
And it,
acceptance. I do think there's more and more messages of body acceptance out there.
I think so. I think it's getting better, but it's still there. And because you,
Yeah. And I also think when you say be healthy enough,
Mhm.
I have now a realistic expectation of what that should look like for me, I believe, but I'm still not at my ideal weight, which is a good 20 or 25 pounds over what it used to be. I'm still not there because I have a little bit of cholesterol issues and triglyceride issues, and I don't want to be a stroke
Right.
casualty, and I don't want to be a heart attack case. And so how do you walk people through discovering what is healthy enough for them
Yeah,
to
that's
avoid some common health problems? We can say, oh, I'm healthy enough for me, and then eat all the cookies tonight. And that's
yeah.
not a good idea
Yeah,
because,
and that's why I worry about that be healthy enough concept, because
do
sometimes
you?
some people it says, oh, you don't have to try anymore.
Right.
That's not the case. That's not the message I want to get out there. The message is what you just said. You've got to find what it is for you. And
Right.
I do have a couple of exercises I take people through. They're whys,
Mm-hmm.
You've done that before, where Tammy, why do you want to lose those 20 pounds?
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, from that, why do you want to do that? And from that, why do you want to do that? Trying to get at the root. And sometimes if you can get at the root, it is a little bit of motivation. A lot of them, it is a health issue. And
Yeah.
I think I heard your whys. You don't want to be that
Oh,
old grandma in the chair. You want to be the one on the floor.
yeah.
You
I mean,
found,
and it's so evident to me now. My grandchildren are 5 years old and 10 months old.
oh my gosh,
And
you've got a long
I mean,
time.
it's so evident to me. I want to be the
Yeah,
grandma that plays
yeah,
for, you know, till I'm 80,
yeah. So yeah, for you, yeah,
90.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, so it's finding out for you that why, which you just did, and then what
Yeah.
steps are you willing to take, and how far do you really truly need to get to? Because you're a
Yeah.
woman, I'm a woman. I've always heard you can never be too rich or too thin, right? And so,
Yeah. Yeah.
but what's the realistic health related weight, not that number you thought you could get to in college, but that's where you need to figure out and go. Because I have a client who's 64. Her mom and dad went through a horrible decline, and she let herself go and started taking care of them. And she came to me because she didn't want to go. She was afraid to go to the gym and do something and get hurt. And then
Mm.
she was afraid to go to the group classes because either they were too hard, or no way was she going to do those chair exercises that some of the people were doing. She didn't
Yeah.
feel like she was,
She was beyond that.
yeah, she was,
Like,
yeah,
I'm not that bad that I have to sit
not
in a
that bad or
chair.
not that bad. So, and she came to me, she wanted to lose 30 pounds. But her back ached and she couldn't walk more than a mile before she had upper back problems. And we just started slowly. We met only every 2 to 3 weeks, and she did homework on her own because she was good, went walking. And we got on the scale the other day, and did she lose 30 pounds? No. But she's walking 2-3 miles a day. Her back doesn't hurt anymore. So that original goal of that weight number, I try to get women off that weight number because that number is so fickle. I hate that scale.
Yeah.
It should be how you feel and can you do the things you love without hurting? Okay, if you can't, how do you build up your body to do that? And eat healthy so you feel you're fueling the body to do those things, but stay away from that darn scale.
Well, let's talk about when you say eat healthy. I know you ordered pizza a couple
did.
days
I had
ago
2
and you
last
feel
night.
bad about it, but it's, that's okay. You have to live your life. But if you had eaten pizza 6 days in a row,
Right.
it might be a problem, right? So what do you tell people about the most important things to do for their nutrition right off the bat? Let's say they're like, I know I'm not healthy. I know what I should do, but I'm not doing it.
Yep.
But what's the first nutrition thing? I mean, honestly, that phrase, when you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
And now we know that most of our diseases that we have are preventable.
Oh, for sure.
And most of them you can even heal with nutrition now. I mean, there's far too many cases showing that to ignore, right?
Exactly.
And so
the first thing I start people with is the water thing. I mean, if you can get in 8 glasses of water, if you can do every client, that's what I do is just start drinking water. 8, technically it's half your body weight, but I just try to get 8.
Right.
I fill up a couple of these a day and I try to get those in. Most days I do, some days I don't. And then the next thing I do is I have people start taking a food journal and figuring out what they're eating and being conscious of whole foods versus processed foods. I think our biggest problem in our world is like on Sunday, but I didn't want to cook, so I went and got pizza. It's so easy to eat crap. It's so easy, and it's so hard to go shopping and cook, but it's so worth it. So we just start taking a look at just getting out the crap and trying to crowd in the good stuff so it crowds out the bad.
Oh, I like that approach because I think we can get so hung up on don't eat sugar, don't eat this, read the labels, don't. And I read something the other day about, how like one of my goals is stop snacking at night, even if it's something healthy like a handful of almonds or something. I know that's one of my things, and it's mindless. It's not helping me. And, or a handful of popcorn, even, I know that it's giving me inflammation. So one of my goals is don't eat after dinner. Like you don't need it. And then I read an article the other day that said often just a cup of water will give you that sensation of feeling full.
Yeah.
It lessens that need, and so that whole, I need to chew something, whatever, that's another mindset thing that you just have to get over. You're not hungry.
No, most of the time. And that was I don't know if you did I started practicing intermittent fasting. And that was because I've tried every diet. I try everything so I can give people, advice, or I know what it's all about. Yeah. And you can go without food for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you have you're diabetic or you have some sort of problem. That was eye-opening to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Waiting till 11 to eat or stopping at 7.
Yeah.
It's more something else going on what you're putting in your mouth than being hungry.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do try when I plan my meals, I try to get a veggie in there somehow, or a good fat and healthy, or a healthy protein or something, because then it does fill you up. So you're not likely to. I don't do carb free, and I try to just eat whole grains and just what satisfies me. And then
Yeah.
Then that hopefully stops the snacking.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great advice.
Yeah.
So you take on private clients.
Yes.
Let's talk for a minute about how your business works. You
Okay.
take on private clients. You have a studio in your home. Is
I
that how you
do.
do that? How
Yep.
fun.
I know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fabulous.
I
And
started.
then, so they come to you, and then how do you do, like, do you do group coaching online? What if someone wanted to hire you and they don't live near you?
Yeah. Yeah. So I do group, I have one-on-one people come to my house. We gutted our garage. So I got 2/3. My husband got a third for his workshop, which is fair, right? And and then I also teach 2 group classes. So if you're in the area, I teach Pilates and cardio. And then I know that personal training is expensive, and I know that I'm not close. So I did start an online exercise program. I designed, I think I have 53 workouts in there now, all for women, people over
Oh,
50. I kind of,
that's a lot.
it's most
Yeah.
for women. I have um, um, custom workout plans. So if, depending on what you're looking for, I have a build a strong foundation. So I have, if you're just starting out, if you have sore back problems, I have a good morning back and healthy hips, and I call it happy hips and shoulders and core. Just some 15-minute workouts to get the basics down. So you, in case you have a hurt shoulder or back. And then I have a beginning, and then I get some tough ones in there that I'm grasping. If you want a challenge, I've got some 30, 40-minute workouts in there. No impact at all. And I have everything a plus 50-year-old person needs: cardio, because you got to keep our heart strength, but no joint jarring. And then strength, because we have to lift weights when you're over 50. And then flexibility, you have to relax and restore. And I have a very cute dog. He's not around, Whiskey, and he's in quite a few of my videos. He loves to be with me while I'm filming my videos.
Oh, so cute.
And so I do that on a subscription plan, but sometimes I'll do distance coaching, and then I assign homework that they do go do this video and that video on this day and that video on that day. So
So
that's what
tell me some stories about who you've helped. Like, what's the best thing anyone's ever told
okay.
you about how you've helped them? I love that.
Okay, this is the funniest story ever. Here I am, a health coach.
Uh-huh.
Funny to me, the funniest story to me ever. I have a woman, she's very famous. Her name's Deborah Lee Baldwin, and she is a succulent queen. She's written books on succulents, and she's sort
Okay.
of a celebrity in our neighborhood. And she came to me, and she, of course, like all women over 50, they want to lose weight. So we start exercising. And she came to me one day. She says, Amy, guess what? I went to the grocery store, and I had that 6-pack carrier for wine, and I could lift the whole thing out of my car, all 6 bottles of wine by myself. I didn't have to take them out one at a time. I'm so strong now. I can lift that 6-pack. I'm like, wait, I'm not sure if I
Wait,
want
how
to.
much wine are you drinking?
Oh, I'm like, yeah, I'm proud of you. You can lift that up now. But I was like, oh boy. So we laughed.
One step at a time.
Exactly. So that was fun. But I think,
That's cute.
just the compliments that people say their back's not hurting anymore, or they're just feeling better about themselves. And the best ones are, yeah, that scale's not shown up, but I don't care. That's the ones.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how the scale cannot move, but your body can change
I know
once you start
I
doing certain
actually,
things. And that is, who cares what the scale says,
I
right?
know, because I start working out heavy. I started working out with some heavy weights just to see how I would do. And the scale was creeping up, and I thought, oh my God, what am I doing? But it's just, I was putting on muscle weight and some inflammation too from
Yeah,
tearing down the muscle.
yeah.
But yeah, but I felt good, and I looked better. My arms looked nice. And that was hard to keep up because my shoulders started to hurt, darn it.
Yeah, yeah.
But those are some fun stories.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Let's just kind of land the plane in
Yeah.
terms of, let's say your audience is mostly women over 50.
Yeah.
When they come to you, are they looking to the future, or are they just like, solve my problem right now? Do we not Do we not tend to think about the future? I mean, I may be unusual because I had that experience so many years ago with the two grandmas and my son making that comment. So it's kind of always been at the back of my mind.
Right.
But when women come to you, what's their main thing that they want solved?
It's typically always, I want to lose weight, get rid of these flappy arms, and get rid of this belly. That's mostly what happens. But then
Mhm.
when we break it down, it's a hurt back or a hurt knee, or something's not feeling the way they want it to feel most of the time. I do have two camps that really do want the quick fix, and
Mm.
they do have show good results because they're willing to put in the work. And then I have the other camp that I think are like you, that know it's the tortoise that wins the race. I think they know that
Mm.
the little bit every day, and setting those little milestones to make this day better than the next day, making your health a priority 80% of the time, splurging a little bit and not feeling guilty because the next day
Mhm.
you're just going to get back to your healthy routine, and not go down a spiral. Because a lot of people, they put those restrictions on themselves, and they'll have that piece of cake or that cheese pizza and wine, and the next day say, oh, forget it, I give up altogether. And,
Right,
and
right. And it's true because one cookie is not going to kill you.
no, God, no.
But if you go, oh, I ate a cookie, I'm just going to eat a whole dozen, you're
No.
going to feel like crap the next day. And
Yeah,
the scale's going to be 2 pounds higher, which is going to make you feel even worse,
exactly.
right? Because then all that sugar inflammation is,
Yeah.
is going to hit you. And boy, I mean, I've learned that one from experience, right? I think we all have.
Oh, yeah.
So is it kind of true that we all know what to do, but we're just not doing it?
I could probably rewrite the script for everybody that comes to see me. I know what I need to do, but I
Yeah,
can't get motivated to do it, or I'm afraid I'm going to hurt myself doing it on my own. Those are the three things I hear
right.
constantly, other than, Amy, get rid of this and flatten my tummy.
Right, right. But it's all like, I know what I need to do. Why am I not doing it? Which is the
Right.
age-old question.
Yep.
And yeah,
And what I'm doing now, I can't do what I did before to make it better. I
mm,
can't go do that triathlon to get back into the shape that I wanted to, or I can't do that class that I liked to do before, or I can't eat the way I did because, God, it was in menopause. I'm in full menopause, and that really messed up my body. And it's that everything changes, and you just kind of have to be your own scientist and figure out
yeah,
what works for you, and be willing to experiment, and do the hard work and make some sacrifices, but not beat yourself up when it doesn't
yeah,
go exactly as planned.
yeah.
Don't be perfect. You can't be perfect anymore.
So let's talk about the other flip side of that coin. There are people like us who are like, okay, I want to figure out what works for me. And then there are people who are like, I've been on so many diets. I'm so sick of this. I know I'm heavy right now. Maybe I'm 40 pounds overweight or even 20 pounds. I know I could be healthier, but I just don't even care. Is there anything you can do? I mean, they have to come to it themselves, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
often, unfortunately, it's a scare. It's a health scare.
Oh, that is the biggest one that I've seen make a transformation. It's the health scare, or seeing someone they love with a health problem.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Hmm.
that has been the biggest transformation. Otherwise, as you said earlier, it's really easy. And I know quite a few people that are overweight. I mean, but they're feeling okay. I have a
Yeah.
girlfriend now, and she just talked, she's doing this new class, and she's got a new job. She's little bit younger than me. The scale's up, and I said, but don't you feel okay? And she goes, yeah, I do. I said, so forget about the scale. So
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't matter. Again, that weight thing I keep harping on
Yeah.
as a measure.
Yeah.
It is not a measure of health by any means.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it might be on some levels, but really it's like what's going on inside.
Right. How do you feel, and can you do the things you love to do with ease? And if
Hmm.
the answer to that is yes, then maybe you're okay. Maybe
Yeah.
it's healthy enough for you.
Yeah.
But if not, if you can't do the things you love and you're not enjoying life, then it's time to take that look. Maybe get some help, talk to somebody, get some ideas, be your own scientist. There is a ton of information out there. So you've got to find the person that you connect with, and or a spouse or a friend. Get a friend that wants to join in your journey.
I like what you said about getting an accountability partner
Yeah.
or joining some kind of an accountability group, because that's everything.
Yeah. And if you are starting your own business at this age too, it's critical that you've got the stamina, because it ain't easy. Oh my gosh. I have an engineering degree. I worked for Hewlett Packard for 26 years. I managed engineers. I had some of the worst technical problems. That was so much easier than what we're doing now. We're everything, right? We're the accountant, we're the social media expert, I'm learning how to do video and how to edit video. It's crazy what we have to do as entrepreneurs. So you've got to be healthy enough to be an entrepreneur.
Right. If that's your goal and that's your vision for your life. Yeah, you do, especially in the beginning, before you can afford to outsource everything and just be the creative. When you start, you kind of learn how to do it all. So, Amy, how can people get in touch with you to find out more about your programs?
So my website's easy, behealthyenough.com, all one word. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. On YouTube, I'm at Amy Van Liew Fitness.
Okay. I love it. And on Instagram and Facebook, you are Be Healthy Enough. The same. Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm sure you will hear from some people, and I know that you can help them.
Yes. So I'm very approachable, and I'm just, if you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out. I love talking with people, because as an entrepreneur, we kind of are on our own. I do see clients, but a lot of time I'm in this little office of mine all day long by myself. So I love talking to people, and I love researching. So
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being
Tammy
with us today. Wow, that was really fun. And I hope that listening to this interview made you think about your own health and what you're doing for it. And, let's start somewhere. I know personally it challenged me that I'm not doing enough, and I'm not quite healthy enough for what my goals are and what I want to do. So I think I may be signing up for Amy's 5-minute-a-day challenge and just see how that goes. We have to start somewhere. So let's get started. If you want to connect with Amy, I will put all of her information in the show notes, but check out Amy Van Liew Fitness on YouTube or Be Healthy Enough on Instagram and Facebook. So I do have to plug in right here that Amy is a member of the Empire Builders Collective. Now that is a VIP membership group where we walk together through the process of a success blueprint. And it's really your brand voice blueprint. We talk about being a distracted dreamer. We have so many ideas. We walk through what should you be doing? Who could you be serving? How can we have some serenity in this crazy social media marketplace that we are suddenly thrown into? I have been studying this for 8 years, and my goal now is to shorten the learning curve for you. So if that sounds interesting to you, go to tammyromani.com/VIP, get on that waiting list, and I will open the doors one more time before the end of the year. It would make me so happy to serve you and to help you with your digital marketing. So check it out and join us. tammyromani.com/VIP will get you on that waiting list. Okay, I just want to say in closing, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that you have found this interesting. We will be having a lot more where this came from. Many more interviews, many more discussions about things that will help you on your journey to building empty nest empires. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.